Question number 11, Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for ACC. Does she stand by her decision to change to the risk rating model for ACC motor vehicle levies that has resulted in 115,000 vehicles being reclassified in the first 3 days?
The Honourable Nikki Kay.
Mr Speaker, yes, I stand by my decision to ensure risk rating is introduced into New Zealand. It's the right thing to do. As a Minister, I stand by decisions which I can reasonably control. As she knows, there was a technical error that caused that reclassification, and it was only a fraction of the number of cars that were actually impacted. It was not 115,000 that were actually impacted.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Sue Moroney.
Why is the 2011 Kia Sportage more dangerous than the 2012 Kia Sportage when they have the same safety specifications?
The Honourable Nikki Kay.
Mr Speaker, as I've said to the member before, there's 2.7 million cars. We have said that we are working with a motor vehicle advisory group to look at potential changes in the future. In fact, if she read the press release of the Chair of the Board of ACC, she will confirm that next week we will be announcing some things that we'll be consulting on as part of ACC's regular consultation.
Order. Point of order.
Point of order, Sue Moroney.
Mr Speaker, my question was very crisp
I heard
and clear.
your question. What's the point of order?
Point of order is I still don't know why one car is more dangerous than the other. I've had no explanation from the Minister.
Order. I'm going to invite the member to ask the question again. I suspect the answer could have been a bit clearer as to why.
Thank you,
Sue Moroney,
Mr Speaker.
question. Supplementary question.
Why is the 2011 Kia Sportage more dangerous than the 2012 Kia Sportage when they have the same safety specifications?
The Honourable Nikki Kay.
Mr Speaker, as I've said to her before, there are 2.7 million cars. We always accepted that when we designed the system there may be some inconsistencies like the one that she mentioned. So there will be changes in the future. But what I can tell the member is it is unacceptable to this side of the House to continue to have a country where people die on our roads. We can do more when we have systems like this. It costs $2 million per serious injury, and we're investing to make sure that we actually get safer cars on the road, and that's the right thing to do.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Sue Moroney.
Why does the fact that the 2003 BMW Z4 has not been involved in enough crashes in its 12 years of existence make it the most dangerous of cars under her risk rating model?
The Honourable Nikki Kay.
Mr Speaker, again, if she's going to read out every single model of cars, then she is completely unreasonable because there are hundreds of models of cars. So the point that I would make to her is actually we are using laboratory crash testing data, and we've been very clear that we do that for a proportion of new cars because real-world crash data is not available. She knows that. And the reality is we'll be consulting on further changes in terms of integrity of the data. But at the end of the day, she knows that this side of the House are focused on ensuring that we reduce serious injury. That side of the House, if they want to dump the system in the future, they can do that. But it's the wrong thing to do. We have to, as a country, have price signals around those that bear the greatest cost in terms of injury.
Point of order.
Order. Point of order, Sue Moroney.
Point of order. Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table a copy of an email to me dated the 21st of September from the owner of a Suzuki Grand Vitara confirming that ACC had given his car a lower rating than the Suzuki Grand Escudo, an identical vehicle, with the only difference being the badge on the
The
back.
document's been well and truly described. I'll put the leave on this occasion. Leave is sought to table this particular email. Is there any objection? There is none. It can be tabled.
Point of order.
Point of order, Sue Moroney.
I seek leave to table a copy of an email sent to me dated 24th of September from the owner of a 2011 Nissan Qashqai.
Again, this document's now been described. I'll put the leave. Does the member have any others?
Yes, I have several, Mr Speaker.
Well, then we'll put them all together very quickly. Just give us the dates of the emails and I'll put
May
the
I
leave.
have time to describe them adequately?
No, you cannot. It's very doubtful whether we should even be putting the leave. It's not about making a political point. If the member quickly lists the dates, I'll put the leave.
There's several of them, Mr Speaker, so I'll leave it there and ask a supplementary question.
Leave is sought to table the particular emails first described. Is there any objection?
Supplementary question?
Supplementary question, Sue Moroney.
Is that what you're calling your minister, Jerry?
Order. Order. If the member wants this up, I'd advise her just to ask. I know she's responding to interjection. Ask it.
Why has ACC given up refunding car owners whose vehicles have been wrongly classified under her flawed model, telling them instead that they have to put a submission into the ACC levy consultation process, which means the error won't be corrected until July 2016?
The Honourable
Mr.
Nikki
Speaker,
Kay.
well, she's wrong again. As I've said to the member a number of times, we are refunding for people who have had incorrect classifications as part of this levy round. But what we have said in the future is that the levy rates will stand for this year, but in the future we'll be consulting on changes. But what I can say to the member is, under our watch, people are paying a lot lower levies. In fact, the average car registration has gone from $330 to, on average, $195, and it is a good system overall, but there is a proportion that we were working through in terms of changes.
Point of order.
Point of order, Sue Moroney.
I seek leave to table a copy of an email to be dated the 2nd
Order,
of July.
order. Be aware, I'm not going to put the leave. Leave is sought to inform members. I've now been, I've been generous in allowing the leave to go forward earlier. It's not about making political points. I'm not putting the leave. Question number...
Supplementary question.
Oh, supplementary question, Sue Moroney.
Who came up with the policy of defining risk by combining Australian and New Zealand data first? Was it her with these botched ACC levies, or was it Michael Woodhouse with his worm farms?
The Honourable Nikki Kay.
Mr. Speaker, the vehicle risk rating policy has been in place and was decided by Cabinet earlier last year, and then we signed off of, obviously, ACC's implementation. So it wasn't Minister Woodhouse, but what I can say to you is, at the end of the day, under this government, we inherited an ACC scheme that was a shambles, $4.8 billion deficit, $10 billion to $31 billion, motor vehicle registrations $330 to $195, and this is a small proportion of...
Order. We're now deviating well past the actual answer to the question. Question number 12, Todd Muller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question's to the